So that question, what's the best way of finding investors? Well, I'm going to go through step-by-step process, but the question suggests that investors are hidden, whereas actually, guys, they're in plain sight, and I'm going to go over that with you just now. But the question is, why do you need to find investors? Well, you want to get started in property. You almost certainly don't have enough money. I don't think anybody I know who's been successful in property had all the money they needed. They all needed at some point to move to private investors. And we're going to go through the step-by-step process today of how do you find those investors? Where do you find investors? But first, if you are brand new to me and this is the first video, welcome to the channel. My name's Susannah Cole. I run the YouTube channel and I also run a brilliant property company called The Good Property Company. I've got a fantastic website that you can go on to, full of brilliantly immediate downloadable information so you can get started. It grows your confidence, it boosts your motivation, gives you the skills you need to succeed and also to mitigate those risks. So do have a good look at my website. It's been a labor of love putting it together for you. And of course, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Right, back to that super important question for you. You need to find the best way of finding investors because you haven't got enough money to start. And we are only alive once. Property will allow you to leave the 9 to 5, it'll allow you to become financially independent, live life on your terms, generational wealth, 6-figure income, all of the things you may be aiming for, because we literally have only one life. And investors are kind of like the key to opening that, as well as obviously finding discounted deals. I raised £600,000 in 14 weeks. Why? Because I was super motivated to get out of my day job. And one chap that I worked with, he used to lend me around about £600,000 a year for 5 years. So although it was 600,000, I would borrow it and pay it back and borrow it and pay back. Actually, it was 3 million quid over the 5-year piece, and I'm going to take you through the steps I used to find that investor and all of my other investors, and you're going to see it is so simple. Investors are not hidden in some secret place, they are hidden in plain sight, and you simply need to follow the step-by-step process. You ready? Here we go. So yes, you can find them at property events. I used to go to 2 events a month in London and 2 property events in a month in Bristol. I'm currently in Barcelona, but I live now part Barcelona, past Bristol, but I started in Bristol. And of course you're going to find property people who want to invest in property at property events, but you can find them anywhere. I found one guy on jury service because I followed the process I'm going to lay out for you. So remember, have a good look at the website. It's called thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk. It gives you everything you need, including all the contracts that you can download straight away to find those investors. Right, let's do it. Step 1, tell everybody what you do. My name is Susannah and I make money with my funds and other people's funds by buying and selling and renovating property deals in Bristol. Simple. Step 2. When you meet somebody, whether it's online, whether it's at a face-to-face event, whether it's on jury service and they've pricked up an interest because you've told them step 1, what you do, take their contact details, phone number, email, name, and put them into a CRM. It's called the Customer Relationship Management System. Basically, HubSpot, Keep, Infusionsoft, Keep is Infusionsoft, HubSpot, Infusionsoft, any of those CRM systems so that you've got their data captured and where you met them. Step 3, find out if they've got any money. They can't be an investor if they haven't got money, stands to reason. So ask them what their investment strategy is and ask them what size their pot is. You need to qualify them. Are they actually potentially an investor? And you need to know how much money their pot is, because you're going to be working with a percentage of that pot. I used to take about 20% of anybody's pot because it mitigates the risk for them. Step 4, diarise a call with them. You've met them, you've had a good initial call, you've qualified them, you know they've got money. Now let's have a one-to-one phone call with them, whether you do it a phone call, whether you do it Zoom, or whether you do a coffee, or whether you do lunch. Arrange to meet with them. It's called a touch point. Step 5, get your paperwork ready. If you were an investor looking to invest with a property professional, which would you rather? The person went, oh, I need to go and get my lawyer to do the paperwork? Or the person that said, yep, this is what I do, here's my process, here's my systems, here's my paperwork, it's the same paperwork I use every time. Of course you're going to go with the person who's already set up, because they look and feel more experienced and you're like, okay, this is just a simple system. So make sure you've got your legal contracts ready. And I always like to have a marketing brochure which just basically says, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is how we work together, this is how you can benefit for me, FAQs and your next steps. So if you don't know what one of them looks like, don't worry, I've got them ready for you to download on my website super fast. I've got my JV agreements that we did so many joint ventures with, cost me about $2,000. I've got my loan agreements and I've got my deal packager agreements all for you on my website that you can download straight away. And that is thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk. But the key is here to have your paperwork ready in advance. You know you're going to raise money, so get yourself ready to be in that position. Step 6, create trust both ways. Just because they got money doesn't mean to say you want to work with them. The majority of investors I worked with were fabulous. There were a couple I would really like to never see again because they weren't really great people to work with or just generally great people in their behaviors. So you need to protect yourself as much as allowing them to trust you. Have between 5 and 9 touch points, meaning coffees, meaning meetings, meaning lunches, times where you both commit to turning up, because you want to make sure your agenda and their agenda aligns, that your values and their values align, that they can stand the pressure when things get tough, that you're going to be able to work together as a partnership. So create trust, 5 to 9 touch points to make sure that you want to work with them, most important, and they want to work with you. Step 7, start small, build up. The temptation, particularly if they've got a lot of money, I remember one chap, his name was Colin, he was like, I've got 600 grand, you need to take it. And I was like, Colin, whoa. I mean, did I want the 600 grand? 100% I did. But would it have been sensible to do so on the very first meeting? No. As it was, we did numerous deals together, so the relationship worked out great. But what if it hadn't? So I was like, Colin, slow down. I'm going to work with 100 grand of your money at this point, and we're going to make sure our relationship works, and then we can rinse and repeat, having built small and gone up. So I typically never take more than 20% of their pot. It makes them trust you more because you're not grabbing. It is really frustrating, particularly when they want you to work with more, but it's just common sense for everybody. Make sure the relationship works, that they don't have all their eggs in one basket, i.e. you. Guess what step 8 is? So simple, rinse and repeat. Just go back to the beginning with the new investor, do it again. So there you go. It is less about where you meet the investors, but once you've met somebody, told them what you do, got their contact details, followed it up, got your paperwork in place, had 5 to 9 touch points, taken a small amount of their money in the beginning just to make sure the relationship works, and rinse and repeat with new investors. That's how you find investors. I raised and paid back. Most importantly, paid back. I raised millions of pounds to get going in property. If you don't want to raise millions, you want to raise 50 grand, you can do it as well by following those processes. So remember to like and subscribe on the channel. And remember also, I have all the legal contracts. Now they cost me thousands, ready for you to download from my website called thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk. Deal packager, joint venture and loan agreements, all ready for you. But the most important thing is, realize it's a simple process and it's a process you can do, and really nobody goes through and succeeds in property without working with private investors at some point. So you might as well bite the bullet and get in there early, because that will help you grow. Good luck. You know the drill. Like and subscribe.